In this video, I make a watchtower on a coaster. Check it out. As usual, I grab a 4-inch coaster and cut a disc of polystyrene to form the base. Given the height of the finished thing, I cut the ground form shorter than usual. To make the platform, I first cut the balsa wood into beams and make a rectangle with hot glue to stick it together. I then grab some ice lolly sticks and glue them over the rectangle to form the deck. Then I clip the overhangs off. I find it useful to have some minis handy to check spacing and clearances. It's time to move on to the legs. I cut 4 pieces of balsa to the same length and glued the ends into the recesses underneath the platform for extra stability. I then cut more lolly sticks into crude points and glue them around the platform, making sure there is clearance for minis and a place to add a ladder later on. For the struts, I decided that this tower had been damaged and repaired so many times that the struts would have a more random pattern. Cutting at 45-degree angles, I was able to make it look like the repairs had been competently, if haphazardly, done. Next, I need some parcel string. I tie it around all of the joints on the frame to add to the rickety look. I then saturate it with super glue for a super hard bond. I liked the look of the ropes so much that I decided to redo the fencing around the platform. Since I had only used hot glue to assemble it, it was easy to pull apart with little damage, and I then glued the boards back on, but this time with space for more of the string to weave between them. I did this in a random pattern in keeping with the look of the rest of the piece. I contemplated adding a canopy atop, but that would have been at the expense of playability. With the tower built, I did the usual modelling compound over the base, followed by a flocking with mixed herbs, all stuck down with a mix of water, PVA glue and a dash of dish soap. If you like this video, please consider helping out the channel with a like and subscribing. It means a lot to us. Now, on to painting. It gets a zenithal prime, quelle surprise. Then I take some green, orange and turquoise paints to stipple into the vegetation areas. Most of this will be toned down and covered up, but it adds some subtle pops and depth to the finished piece. I then dilute and mix all 3 paints on my palette to create a mossy wash, which goes over the whole thing. This gives a saturated, rotten feel to the wood. A heavy dry brush of medium brown over the wood makes it stand out, but avoiding the recesses keeps that dark, rotting look in the shadows. Once the browns are done, I come in with a bone white or pale tan colour and give a lighter dry brush over the whole piece. Like the wash before, this helps tie all the elements into the environment and gives a much more natural look to the piece overall. Dry brushing is also a rather zen experience for me. Minis need a way up, so I grabbed a load of matchsticks and snipped them in half. I then took 2 lengths of string and began to poke the ends of the matchsticks into one of them at regular intervals to create a ladder. Once one of the ropes was done, I did the same to the other piece of string. I glued it to the top and then held the base of it down and soaked it with superglue to give the illusion of weight. I watered down some brown ink and gave the ladder a thorough covering. When dry, I did a second coat, then I did a dry brushing with the same pale tan as before, tying it all together again. Using hot glue, I stuck lichen around the base and creeping up the structure to make it look overgrown. I then soaked it with isopropyl alcohol and squirted my sealant mix over it for durability. Lastly, I did another layer of flock on top of the lichen and in the corners of the platform, sealing it down with the same material. Before I show you the finished result, I'd just like to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time on Bleeding Tree Gaming.